Welcome to another season of high school baseball here at Wildcat Park. South Suburban Conference matchup. I'm Casey Lux, joined by my right-hand man, my usual color man, Skip Newton. Skip, how are we feeling today on this Tuesday?
It is gorgeous out. It's a beautiful day for baseball. I couldn't be happier to be here, Casey.
Absolutely. So let's kind of dive into this game here, and we'll get some graphics going. But as we watch the Eagan Wildcats take the field, I'll give you a quick rundown, Skip. I know that you called the game earlier this season when Eagan traveled across Eagan, I guess, if you want to say, cross city to take on the Eastview Lightning. But Lakeville South 5-2. The Cougars come in. They lost yesterday, a 7-0 loss to Shakopee. That was yesterday. And then the Eagan Wildcats are 4-2 on the season. Lost a tough one to what many kind of hail as the top team in the conference, Farmington. That was a 2-1 loss. So two excellent teams. I think we're in for a really good day. Obviously, beautiful weather. We'll see if the wind kind of stays out of the outfielders' way, so to say, and doesn't make too many pop flies tricky. But beautiful weather, beautiful day for baseball, and we're just glad that there's no rain.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't complain about the wind on a day like today, and it's almost 70 degrees, not a cloud to be seen. Very happy. And Eagan's had a good season thus far. I mean, both losses, 4-2 record, both losses coming by just one run. You mentioned I called that game down at Eastview, and they had a chance. I mean, they came powering back with 3 home runs in the last 2 at-bats in the 6th and 7th, but then ended up giving it up in the bottom of the 7th. But again, they're playing good baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to see the junior today is going to be Brody Illa, and Brody making his second start on the season. Brody's coming back from a Tommy John surgery that he had last season. So Brody played about 2/3 of the season, primarily pitched, played some right field, also DH and hit for himself. Brody's first outing only went 3 innings because they kind of were, easing him into the season. 3 innings, gave up 3 runs, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. So I was talking to Brody. He's very excited for today, really being able to kind of stretch out his arm and go deeper into the pitching count.
Yeah, and as
that was the game you did,
coincidence
right?
would have it,
Yeah.
that was the game I did. And he looked sharp, but, you could tell it had been a while. But, he definitely pitched well in those 3 innings.
Yeah, so we're going to dive right into it. We're going to have the shortstops going to lead off. It's number 3 is Cashton Bodden. So he's going to lead off right away for the Cougars, and then we'll go over the defensive alignment here in a second as well. Actually, since we got a little time as they're fixing the ear gear. So we got, for the Wildcats, we're going to have Drew Boyd. You're going to have the 2 Drews in the corners. So you're going to have Drew Boyd in left. You're going to have Tate Gage, the senior, who's going to play college baseball at Concordia St. Paul in center. Drew McShane in right. You're going to have Theo King, a senior, at third. Parker Pangier, sophomore, at short. Aiden Canty, junior, at second. Tony Hiveri at first base. The senior behind the plate is the ever-always catcher, and that's Brandon Lundenborg, who's been back there pretty much since the end of 8th grade. And then, as I mentioned, the aforementioned Brody Illa on the mound. His first pitch is going to be up and away for a ball. Brody goes fastball, slider, and splitter. So what you'll notice, Skip, is he'll always kind of grip the ball with a splitter, and then obviously he'll change it once it's within his glove. So kind of giving that optical illusion that every pitch is going to be a splitter, right?
Yeah, a little mind game there with the batter. You got to do whatever you can to get an advantage.
Yeah. So quickly comes back with a strike on the inside corner, 1-1. There's a ball's going to hit out to left field towards Boyd, who's going to camp underneath it for the first out of today's inning. It's going to bring up the first baseman is the pitcher. The pitcher, Gavin Dean, who's going to be hitting for himself today. Didn't get a whole lot of info on Lakeville South. Just didn't have a whole lot of time before the game, but they were a young team last year, Skip. So they had 6 starters returning. So they're really excited about this season. With bringing back some experience from last season. And then 2 other guys are, at least as of this moment, Bodden, who we just saw, the center fielder, he's going to play baseball at Augustana, and then their catcher, Smith, that we'll see later in the game, is planning on going to Mankato State. 1-1's our count, 1 out. Wildcat Park, South Suburban Conference matchup. 5-2 Lakeville South, and there is that splitter. Stayed up this time, but you can definitely notice the change in speed.
Yeah, the change in speed was obvious, and
Right.
it definitely threw off Dean at the plate.
Kind of floated in almost as if it was a changeup, and then the wind very well, kind of held it up instead of dropping. Fastball on the outside corner. So the most part here early on, Illa's living on fastballs, mixing in a few splitters. Haven't seen a slider yet. I'll tell you what, you're not going to miss that teal glove that he has. That's a bright one.
I like that one.
I do too. There's a slider. So 3-2 now to the pitcher. Mano-y-mano matchup to Gavin Dean. Excellent crowd. Looks, I can't tell. I think we got a track meet going on as we see Dean take a walk for the first runner of today's game. And that'll be the center fielder will be Carson Walker. Bodden is the shortstop. I don't know if you noticed during the national anthem, perfectly synced with the gun during one of the moments that you'd hear the cannon during the national anthem.
That is actually something I did notice, and I was waiting for like the fireworks to go off. Like, wait a minute, that's not what that was.
I was like, that is just too perfect. It was like it was just perfectly lined up. You know, because you just never know. Like, you know, a lot of times, you know, well, here at Eagan, right, you could potentially have a softball game going, you could have a track meet, you know, a triangular or a single meet, whatever it might be, and a baseball game going. So sometimes if I feel like, you know, the national anthem goes and everybody stops and, you know, what they're doing and paying attention. Other times you'll have like 3 different national anthems within about a 5-minute span, right? We typically go a little bit earlier than the softball team as far as the national anthem. So we haven't been able to sync it up just quite yet. So that was a hot shot down the third base line that was fouled by Walker. 1-1 is our count, 1 down, and we have Dean at first base who reached on that 3-2 full count walk. We'll get into a few of the teams that they have common opponents at here early on, but as we mentioned before, Eagan did lose a tough one on the road yesterday to Farmington. That was a 2-1 game. It was 1-1 going into the bottom of the 6th, and Farmington pulled away. Earlier, I think it was last week, Lakeville South lost a 3-2 game against Farmington. So it kind of shows you that I think the conference, at least early on, is pretty even across the board. Another throw over to Highbury. Back in time is Dean. Illa's pitch as Dean takes off. It's high and in. Throw down not in time. Knocked down by a good backup by Pangier. So Dean reaches second, puts himself in scoring position, trying to get an early run for his own cause since he's pitching today. One thing to watch too, Skip, is that it looked like Lakeville South had 3 of their players maybe sick or just unable to make the trip. So play with a short bench. I mean, obviously they're DHing, so they technically will have 4 guys on the bench, but not a lot of options if they have to get into the bullpen game potentially down the road. Fastball on the outside corner in there for strikes, so now 2-2, 1 down here in the top of the first.
Important at bat here early for Illa. You want to get ahead and not continue to pitch from behind on these hitters. He's gotten behind all 3 so far, but needs to get this second out.
Yeah, absolutely. Gets Walker to chase on the outside fastball. 2 down. First strikeout of the game for Illa. Bringing up the right fielder, 18, Aiden Connolly. Yeah, you know, and especially Dean, right? Dean's trying to help his cause. He's, you know, doing the pitching today, right? So stealing the base, putting himself in, you know, scoring position early on. There's that splitter by Illa. 0-1 quickly to Connolly.
Last time he threw that, he fouled it up with a fastball, and you
Right.
could notice the change in pace. It was quite obvious. We'll see if he
Yep.
does the same thing here.
Yep. And he does. Absolutely. Good call. And the other thing, too, is, you know, all 3 of his pitches are all going to come from the same arm slot, right? So the hitters aren't going to know, you know, this is a slider, this is a, you know, splitter. And like I said, that's why, you know, he's prepping it by putting he's, you know, starting it off with a splitter so the pitcher or the hitters are seeing the splitter, and then he switches up. There's the slider that he just missed on the outside corner. Looks like he's trying to get a little bit more movement here early on with this slider. This is Eagan's kind of go-to defensive lineup. Aiden Canty was back yesterday, so he was out for about a week or so with kind of just a slight injury. And really the main add was Pangier, the sophomore at short. King is a returner at third. Gage a returner in center. Lunenborg returner at catcher. Hivery also returner at first. And Canty played a decent amount at second last year as a sophomore. And then obviously they filled in a little in the corners. There's strike 3 by Illa. Gets his second strikeout of the day. And for the Lakeville South Cougars, they went no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 left on. We're going to throw it back to the truck for 60 seconds. Test out some maybe these new graphics. And we'll be back here in the bottom of the first for more Eagan baseball against Lakeville South on Eagan TV. Back here, Wildcat Park. Bottom of the first inning, we're going to see the leadoff hitter take Gage, which he's been doing this for quite a while. Skip, I think all of your years of doing Eagan baseball, you've seen Gage here as the leadoff hitter playing center field.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you were talking about Lakeville South having a lot of returning guys from a year ago. There's a lot of familiar names on this Eagan baseball squad as well.
Yeah. Well, and that's 100% it. I mean, what's kind of wild too is so Lunenborg, Illa, and Will Mitchell, all were starters as freshmen. So I mean, and Lunenborg, like I said, played a little bit towards the end of his 8th grade season. First pitch to Gage, outside curveball, misses for a ball. So take Gage on the season, obviously being the leadoff hitter, he's got the most plate appearances, 24. Batting .286, .375 on base percentage. A slow roller, see if the speed can beat the play. A nice scoop by Von Eschen, throw over, safe. So it looked like Herder wasn't able to get that tag on. Nice play by Von Eschen. Charged it, got a good strong throw, pulled him off the base a little bit.
Now batting, a senior, number 16,
and there goes the no-hitter, Skip.
Did they give him a hit for that? I was thinking
I believe so. Oh, no, they did give him there. Yeah, pulled him off the base.
E5,
okay,
yeah.
Okay. Well, now I just that's probably a good announcer jinx. That keeps the no-hitter alive even longer, right? Now we can talk about it. Third baseman, senior Theo King steps in, showing bunt. Outside corner throw down. That's going to skip off the base into right field. And Gage is going to trot over to second. And now a bunt might send him over to third. So just that fake bunt and the wild throw by Smith. So probably 2 errors in the last 2 plays for the Cougars. And Egan's looking to take advantage. King on the season, 211, .318 on base percentage, 1 double. Had a big home run at Eastview that you were there to see. 3 RBIs, 3 runs, and 1 stolen base. There's a nice curveball in there for a strike. Now 1-1 is our count. Gage reached on that errant throw. Gage 3 for 5 on the year in stolen bases. He leads the team with 9 runs scored. So pretty good percentage, Skip, that when Gage gets on and he comes around. Another curveball in there for a strike. Quickly 1-2 to the senior third baseman.
Yeah, I thought maybe King was looking for something else there because that one was a hittable pitch, but he might have been thrown off by the curve.
Right. Yeah, I'd probably guess some fastball maybe in that, that pitch sequence. Good hold on the curveball in the dirt. Nice block by the catcher, Smith. That's Colton Smith behind the plate, as we mentioned, set to go to Minnesota State Mankato, which has a fine baseball program and has for many years. A few Eagan guys currently playing for them right now. Aiden Byrne, who I think is in his 4th or 5th year at the stud shortstop. And if I remember correctly, I think he was the NSIC Player of the Year last year. And then Landon Berry, a teammate of his in high school, now a teammate of his at Mankato, a third baseman for Mankato. 2-2's our count. Nobody down here in the bottom of the second. No score. Tate Gage, senior center fielder at second. Dean on the mound working to his battery mate, Colton Smith. Gage taking off. Here's a throw by Smith, and he's going to get him. There's the strong arm from Smith. So now Gage will be 3 for 6 on the season in stolen bases. So Colton Smith erases that errant throw to first by sniping Tate Gage at third on a strong throw to Van Eschen. He got rid of that thing quick, didn't he, Skip?
Yeah, that was a quick throw, and he was out by a few feet. I mean, that was a no doubter there at third.
Yeah, and it looked like Gage was kind of timing him up as far as the delivery goes. So I mean, it looked like he got a decent jump. But he also caught it on the fastball, right? King's gonna pop one out to center, and that might not have been deep enough even to get a tag for Gage as well. So just like that, now the Cougars have erased Gage on base, and now 2 down, bringing up the junior catcher Brandon Lundenberg. Kind of the big stat, Lundenberg on base percentage is team leading .545. He also, if you can hear it, he also has the most popular walk-up song by far.
It is nice. I do like that.
The fans, I mean, all ages are dancing when they hear his music coming up. Changeup just misses inside. Lundenberg on the season, 3 doubles, and he did have a walk-off double. Let's see, game that was earlier this year at home against it wasn't at Rosemount. Lakeville North at home. A 1-0 game in the bottom of the 8th, and a great pitchers duel. Both pitchers went into the extras. And then Lundenberg as well has a home run, 4 RBIs.
And
he gets cheated on runs, you see, because he only has 1 run of his own, and that was on his home run, because anytime he gets on base, he gets that courtesy runner. Curve on the outside corner. 3-1's our count. What were you going to say, Skip?
Well, I was going to say, and his home run came in that game that I called at Eastview, and it was one of those where he went into his home run trot as he was leaving the batter's box.
Yeah,
it was a no-doubter.
That's what I heard. There's a shot after we just talked about some doubles. That'll be double number 5 unless he tries to stretch it into a triple. Lundenberg's just going to coast and cruise into second. Nice piece of hitting on 3-1, going with the pitch. Took the curveball to right center, puts himself in scoring position, and that's going to bring in the courtesy runner. And that will be number 10, Sam Stefanski.
So
yeah, that's what I heard too. So I actually, after that game, I think I sent a text message to Coach Butler, and I said, because I was kind of following along on Game Changer, and even though they show the video clips, I mean, you just see the batter. I mean, you can't obviously, the phone isn't gonna, pan and show you where it's going, right? So I was following along, and Eagan got down 5-2, and all of a sudden, before you know it, was home run. I was like, is it a short porch, or was the wind blowing out? And they're like, no, they were all, King, Hivari, and Lundenberg's were all legit. And they're like, Lundenberg's was like just off the bat, you for sure knew. I mean, the other two, I think they had to wait a little bit.
Yeah, the left fielder didn't move.
Sure.
I mean, he took a couple steps like, all right, this is out.
Yeah. So Will Mitchell, DH in a day after he pitched yesterday in that game against Farmington, the junior, is going to step in. Stefanski doing the courtesy running for Lundenberg. Dean does a nice job. Fastball on the outside corner to get ahead. 0-1. 2 down here, bottom of the first, Wildcat Park. Mitchell's been kind of living in this number 4 hole for most of the season. Pitching, DHing, at times also potentially playing some second. Base hit out. We're probably not going to see a play because it was a slow roller. Out to Flea. So, nice piece of hitting. Mitchell muscles one out to Flea. and gets Eagan their first run on the board as they take an early lead, 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. So for Mitchell, that was RBI number 5 as he came in with 4. 1 for 1 on stolen bases, and Mitchell second on the team with a .313 average. Aiden Canty steps in, the second baseman, leading the team with .375 average, 500 on base, 1 RBI, 1 run. Slider misses low. 2 down here for the Cougars on the mound.
Nice to see Mitchell with that big 2-out run producing hit, especially after Gage got thrown out at third.
Yep.
Eagan would have already had a run on the board, so that's a big RBI single there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a nice changeup. Absolutely. I mean, because he would have easily, walked in. Gage would have from second on Lundenberg's double. What you'd like to see from Mitchell on that at bat too is he didn't go up there to look at any pitches. He jumped on that first pitch, fouled it off, and then muscled out the second pitch out to left field. And it wasn't hit hard enough that even if you had Matt Wallner in left, that wasn't going to be a play at the plate. Just wasn't going to get to him quick enough.
Yeah, with 2 outs, they don't have to worry about it being caught.
Correct. Nice job by Smith to keep it in front. Quickly now, though, is 3-1 to Canty, the second baseman, with the senior first baseman, Hyveri, on deck. Yeah, Mitchell really came on for them last year. Had a really good year as a sophomore at the plate as well. Just been a really reliable hitter for the Wildcats. So Canty takes a walk. First walk given up by Dean. Sends Mitchell to second. Canty at first. The big first baseman, Tony Hyveri, will step in. Tony, .333 on base percentage. Had that 1 home run. As you know, the thread here is all the home runs are at Eastview that Skip saw and called. Tony's got 4 RBIs on the year, 2 runs scored.
Yeah, all the games we've called together, I don't think we've ever seen a home run, and then I get
them all in one
three
day.
of them in 2 innings.
I know. And I feel like, there's been some games, and I think a lot of times there's been a lot of games here on Eagan TV as well where it's been like heavy wind to left and you still don't get, one to climb over the monster and left. A few years back, Coach Butler's been doing it now 9 seasons, and I've been with him the whole time. A few years back, he had some power hitting righties, that would, get it in that little loop right there before the fence goes up in right field, from 307 to whatever it might be, 315 or so. But it does take it takes a pretty good poke to left field, because I can't remember exactly, but I think that's all of what would you say, 30 feet high fence?
Yeah, it's definitely a significant monster out there.
Yeah, exactly. But the issue that you run into sometime is that if you get it up in the sky on a windy day, it just carries it over. You don't have to really hit it as hard as you think. Big swing and a miss for strike 3. So Dean gets out of the inning, only giving up that 1. But for Eagan, they do get that 1 run on 2 hits. There was 2 errors and 2 left on. Back in 60 seconds. It's 1-0. The Wildcats over the Cougars. We'll be back for the top of the second here at Wildcat Park on Eagan TV. All right, back here. There we go. Little wires crossed up. Brody Illa facing number 9. And that is the catcher, Colton Smith. Smith quickly now 0-2. That first pitch was fouled off his foot. So we'll see what Illa comes with here. Maybe he dust off a slider or a splitter again. There's a slider. Fouled away past third base coach. As always, we want to thank the ETV crew for their constant support of area athletics. We got Tim as our director today. Winter, she's on the replay. Josh, graphics and audio. So you see a hot shot, one hopper over to Canty, quickly over to Highbury for the first out of the inning. And then we got the fabulous camera crew of Kevin, Carter, and Nick. So we'll keep giving them our thank yous throughout today. I know Skip will say some fine words as well. But we always enjoy when Eagan TV can provide these games for fans that can't make it, relatives at home, across different states. First pitch swung on, past the diving Boyd and left. That's going to send Lerfall to second with a one-out double. Hot shot to left. Drew Boyd had a nice beat on it. Probably missed it by about, I don't know, a foot or so, Skip. Good time. Good timing on it.
I'll admit, when it was hit, I thought he was going to get there. He looked like he had a pretty good jump on the ball, just could not quite make that diving catch.
Yeah. It's hard to know, too. Down on the field, we don't feel a lot of wind, and now that we don't have that flag out in left center, it's hard to always get a gauge as to what the wind might do to it out for the outfielders. Slider misses inside. One down here. Top of the second, Lakeville South Cougars taking on the Eagan Wildcats. Wildcats leading 1-0 here, top of the second, as Lerfald had that double. Shot out to right field. McShane moving back, gets over his head. So that's going to send Herder to second. Lerfald's going to come home. We might have a play. Safe. So back-to-back doubles. We'll see how that one's scored. Looked like McShane maybe just need to put a little more urgency, on his trot backwards on that ball to right. I think it carried on him a little bit more than he thought, right?
You just mentioned that we can't really tell what the wind is doing, but I feel like it might be going out to right, and I thought maybe that combined with the sun may have played a role there.
Yeah, because he had the perfect angle on it. I mean, if he maybe jumps up, he probably brings it down. So Lerfald and Herder exchange places at second. First pitch swinging up the middle. Canty backhand in time to Highbury. Excellent play. Strong arm by the junior. Gets down on one knee, shows off the soft mitts with the leather. And a quick throw over to Highbury. Nice job of running by Herder on that slow roller to get over to third. So now Lakeville South looking to take the lead with Herder at third, 2 down, and that's going to bring up Xander Benson, who is our DH today. No, excuse me, am I one behind? I am one behind. Benson just got out. That was Casey Flea. RBI single. First pitch swinging. So I think what you kind of notice here, Skip, is I think it's the last 3 or 4 batters have all gone after the first pitch.
Yeah, it's been a lot of quick swinging here after that first batter got out after 4 pitches. It's been 1-2, 1-1.
Right. And that's where I'm getting a little mixed up on my who's up next, because it's just one pitch swinging, exchanging places. So Flea is on first. He's number 9 hitter. That rolls the top of the lineup back over. It's a shortstop, Cashton Baden. Flea's going to take off. Throw down by Lunenborg in time. So Lunenborg helps kind of kill that threat. But the Cougars do score 2 runs on 2 hits. 1 error, and no one left on. It's 2-1 is our score. The Wildcats are coming up here in the bottom of the second. 60 seconds, we'll be back on Eagan TV for more South Suburban Conference baseball. Okay, we're back. 2-1, so we're having some action here early on in today's matchup. It's going to bring up Drew McShane. And Drew is a sophomore. Saw some action last year, primarily as a pinch runner, if I remember correctly. And Drew's kind of been taking over the right field spot, but it's usually Skip. It's usually Drew McShane in right. Sometimes Brody Illa in right, and they've even had Brendan Madiman also play some right field. So they got some options for the outfielders. But McShane's going to slide in. 429 on base percentage, 2 for 2 on stolen bases, 1 run on the season. Dean set to pitch, and his battery mate is, as we've mentioned before, Colton Smith. 2-1's our score. Both teams with 2 hits. First pitch off the back of McShane. So the on-base percentage just keeps rising for McShane. Bring up the sophomore, Parker Pangier, shortstop. Pangier, 333 on base percentage, 1 RBI, 1 run, 200 average. Doing a nice job at short, though, as he's taking that position over. McShane a threat to steal at first. And I think, Skip, you've watched enough Eagan baseball, whether it's here or even if you've caught him on road games, that you know that Coach Butler is an aggressive coach on the base pass.
Yes, he is. I expect some action here, and I was going to say a bunt as well.
That was a good bunt, but just kind of caught the lip of the grass to go foul. So 0-1 to Pangier here early on in the at-bat.
Bunting for the hit, going down the third baseline. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I think he was maybe trying to deaden it, but at the same time, yeah. I mean, if you get the job done by getting the runner over to second and standing on first base. That's extra bonus, right? Curveball misses outside. 1-1 is our count. So far, it seems like Dean has been primarily fastball, curveball. Can't tell if I've maybe thrown a changeup or 2. Heater inside, back to back. Gonna get those ice packs out here tonight after the game.
Yeah, just a couple of them getting away inside, throwing inside. Bert Blyleven would be proud.
Right, absolutely. Throwing inside, but a little too much, catching those ribs. So Drew Boyd, a left fielder, also a sophomore. So you got the 3 sophomores in a row at the bottom of the lineup, 7, 8, 9. Drew Boyd, as I mentioned, or maybe you heard last year, it was a kind of the right-hand man when it came to courtesy running. 4 for 5 on the season for stolen bases. He has the most stolen bases of the squad. 263 on base, 1 double, 2 runs scored. So we'll see if he's asked to set down a bunt as he shows early. Gets it down right back to the pitcher. Get the job done as Dean throws it over to the second baseman, Lerfald, who was covering. And that's the thing, Skip, I think you know too. I mean, you've watched enough baseball as well. It doesn't have to be the perfect bunt, right? You just need to get it down.
Yeah, and Dean thought about going to another base there, but probably made the smart decision. You know, it's only the second inning.
Correct.
Get the sure out.
Well, it's only the second inning because you throw it over to third and he's safe. Now you got bases low with the top of the lineup coming around, right? So leadoff hitter is Tate Gage, center fielder, set to play at Concordia St. Paul next year. First pitch swinging, ground ball to short. Bodden thought about coming home, but he's going to throw it across the diamond to Herter for the second out of the inning, and Gage is going to pick up RBI number 2 on the season. Just wasn't hit hard enough. I mean, the infield was in. He had to kind of go down on one knee, and probably a smart play by getting the out once again. Like you said, early in the game, it's 2-2. They had the lead. Theo King comes up with Parker Pangier at third, 2 down.
And you mentioned Butler liking to be aggressive on the base pass. We saw that there. There was no hesitation, and they went on contact.
Correct. Fastball misses out. Yeah, Eagan doing the unthinkable, right, of scoring a run with no hits so far in this inning. Theo King trying to change that here in his at-bat. Senior fastball, outside corner in there for a strike. 1-1's our count, 2 down. 2-2's our score, bottom of the second here on a wonderful, beautiful day here at Wildcat Park. Looks like there is a softball game going on. And I did talk to the new AD, Jason, great guy here at Eagan. Foul ball hit over to the track and field. But Jason was mentioning that the conference has kind of adapted a little bit newer philosophy this year of kind of doing the travel, the combined travel. So, if Lakeville South's playing baseball, then they'll try to send Lakeville South softball as well. And Dean strikes out King to end the inning. But the Wildcats do get 1 run on no hits, 1 error, and 1 left on. We're all knotted up, 2s here at Wildcat Park. Back in 60 seconds for the top of the third as the Cougars from Lakeville South set to come to plate here on Eagan TV. Alrighty, one more final warm-up pitch by the junior Brody Illa. As he's stretching the arm out, as we mentioned prior. He pitched 3 innings in his season debut, and that was at Eastview. So slowly stretching that arm out after his Tommy John surgery last season. We're going to have the leadoff hitter, Cashton Bodden, shortstop, set to go to Augustana, another powerhouse in the NSIC conference. And the reason that Bodden is batting again was because Lunenburg threw out the runner at second to end the second inning.
Yeah, Bodden 0 for 1, flew out to left field back in the first inning to lead off the game.
First pitch, fastball outside corner in there for a strike. I think one thing you'll notice too here, Skip, is probably this second time through the lineup is the changing up the cadence of that first pitch, especially the way that the bottom of that lineup was swinging at, first pitch swinging, as we noticed in the second inning when the South Cougars got both their runs. Maybe see some splitters to start off some batters here, especially at the top of the lineup. 1-1's our count. Bodden outside corner is out there for a ball. Few common opponents that we'll get into amongst both these teams. As we mentioned, Cougars have played 7 games coming into today. Ground ball backhanded again by Canty. It's the slick fielding, giving the hometown fans a little reminder of Luis Rivas from back in the Twins days.
Canty looking solid out there. Several nice plays already.
Twice to his backhand. And he's just real quick. He gets down to that one knee real fast, pops up, or just throws off his knee. He's got a strong arm.
And he's making it look easy.
Yes.
Like it's a very routine play for him.
Correct. There's that splitter that we're talking about. First pitch in there for a strike. This is the pitcher, Gavin Dean. Dean reached the first inning, correct?
Yep, the only walk so far yielded by Illa. Stole a base, stranded on second.
Hot shot, going to be to the backhand of Pangier. Is he going to have enough on the throw? No. The good speed by Dean beats out the throw. Nice play by Pangier. It was hit hard, but in the hole. It would have been hard for Pangier. If he'd have taken a step or two in on it, I don't think he would have gotten the hop that he got. So that was probably the right play. Still a strong throw, but obviously we saw Dean steal base, so we know that he's got the speed. So Dean reaches with a single. That's going to be the third of the game for the South. Bring up the number 3 hitter, which is the center fielder, Carson Walker.
Walker struck out back in the first.
Okay. We're going to be keeping a close eye as we watch Illa throw over to first. try to keep Dean over at first to keep that double play intact. I would say this is probably the nicest day that any of these teams have played on. Well, I guess yesterday would have been a nice day to play too. That first week of the season is just always hit or miss. You just want to get the games in. I mean, you know there's a good chance that it's going to be somewhere between 34 to 40 degrees.
Yeah.
And about 20-mile-an-hour wind. But you just hope that there's not rain or potential snow. You know, because all these coaches just because you can't afford to have back-end makeup games, right, late in the season when you're making, you know, stretch runs for the conference or your section seeding, and then now having to, you know, mash up your pitching, right, those last week or two of the season.
And they don't have the luxury of lighted fields. They can't go into the
Correct.
evenings, like even squeeze in a doubleheader. Wouldn't that be fun?
Right. Yeah, or even, you know, knowing that maybe you have a pocket of rain from 4 to 5, and then you're just going to say, hey, let's just play this game at 7:30, right? I feel like in the conference, if Eagan ever plays a night game, it's typically the only one I've ever seen them on their schedule play is usually on the road at Shakopee. And that might be just a thing that those two schools do. Maybe a Shakopee night or a Sabre night, whatever you want to call it. Dean takes off, popped up. This is going to stay in here. It's going to be called off by Highbury. Overran it over by the first base dugout. So 1-2's the count, 1 out. Dean has to go back to first.
Eagan.
The bat still alive for the center fielder, Carson Walker.
Let's see if Walker can take advantage of an extra opportunity here as Eagan giving him another out.
That's probably the right play, you know, to have the first baseman has the better angle, right, than having your catcher trying to look up against the sun and try to find where he is. I think Highbury just kind of came in just a little, you know, came in with a lot of speed and wasn't able to kind of, you know, settle his feet down, hunker down, as they say, to be able to kind of camp underneath it. 2-2's the count. 2-2 is our score. 3-2 on the hits, so Cougars have one more hit than the Wildcats. Cougars have 2 errors to the Wildcats 1. Another throw over.
Way to keep them moving, Gab. Good job, buddy. Get your wheels on, kid.
South, their wins have been against Burnsville 8-0, Rosemont 4-2, Eastview 14-4, Apple Valley 6-1. Popped up. This is going to stay in the infield. This one is going to be underneath to Highbury. Calls off Illa for the second out. And then they did win at Lakeville North, their rival, 10-0. And then their 2 losses. Last week was at Farmington 3-2. Yesterday were shut out by Shakopee 7-0 at home. So common opponents would be Burnsville, Rosemont, North, Eastview, and Farmington. So they've all kind of seen a lot of the same teams. Wildcats have played Prior Lake, which the Cougars have not. There goes Dean. Hot shot, perfect hit and run. Hit over to McShane. Dean got confused, thought it was caught even though there's 2 outs. A whole lot of a melee. A wild throw in from McShane. A lot to explain there, Skip.
Yes,
So-
somehow a hit-and-run single ended up in runners at first and second. I don't know if that's a break for Eagan.
Well, and it almost ended up in a potential force out at second because Dean took off to second, and I think he heard the crowd thinking that it was foul or something, so he actually ran about halfway back to first. And he was saved by the wild throw from McShane as McShane was expecting him to take off to third. So hopefully you got all that at home. But here we are, first and second, 2 outs, top of the third with Aiden Connolly at the plate. It kind of had the feels of 8-year-old baseball. Oh, sorry, one behind myself. Caden Smith. Nice play by Canty on the 1-hop, throw to first, and a slide in by Smith, not in time. So for the Cougars in a wild third, they end up with no runs on 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on. Back again in 60 seconds. Our score is knotted at 2. coming back here in the bottom of the third on Eagan TV.
Yeah, I got it.
Back here on Eagan TV, South Suburban Conference action, 5-2, visiting Lakeville South Cougars. And we hear the pleasantry sounds of Brandon Lunenberg's, the junior's walk-up song with a lot of trumpets, a lot of happy music. Perfect song to get everybody ready for Cinco de Mayo coming up, Skip.
Yeah, and I love that he's leading off the inning, so it gets a little extra, right?
Oh yeah,
You
can tell that if it's a favorite song, you know, let's say of a student manager Hans Anderson, he likes to say the now batting like after the guy throws his first warm-up pitch, right? You're gonna get like the full 3 minutes of the song. Get the crowd going, get the people dancing, get them up on their feet. So we still have the Gavin Dean still pitching for the Cougars, and he's done well. He just had that, he gave up one in the bottom of the first, one in the third. And actually the scoreboard is a little bit behind me because I said bottom coming back for the bottom of the third. We're already in the bottom of the fourth, Skip. Right?
This should be, bottom of third.
Yeah, bottom of third, okay. Okay, so I think where the Wildcats messed up is they put a run in the bottom of the third. It should be in the bottom of the second. There we go. That is a Major League pop-up down the left field line, and I think it's going to be in no man's land and end up being a double for Lunenburg. So a skyrocket of a moonshot that lands in between Flea, the left fielder, Von Eschen, the third baseman, and Baden, the shortstop.
Had to be a little bit of miscommunication, I think, there, because that thing was way up there. There's no way that one shouldn't have been caught.
Well, and in all reality, that's either, I mean, you have to remember, you know, Lunenburg is the number 3 hitter, so the left fielder's playing deep. So in all reality, that's probably the shortstop's ball. It's a little bit of a run and a tough angle for the third baseman, what I mean, to try to track it. So it's probably, you know, between shortstop or left fielder coming in and calling him off. So Lunenburg picks up now his 5th double of the season, as he has 2 doubles today.
But will not get a run scored as he's pinch run for yet again.
In all reality, I think you're supposed to. I think that's truly like a game changer error, you know what I mean, within the software, because you know, he is the actual, you know, the runner of importance, however you want to say it. They just bring in the courtesy for him, right? But if you had him on your fantasy team, you know, you got 4 total bases right now, so you're happy with that with 2 doubles. Fastball high in to the junior Will Mitchell. Quickly 2-0 to Mitchell with pinch runner Sam Stefanski at second. Well, courtesy runner.
Mitchell with a 2-out RBI single back in the first.
Right.
Getting that courtesy runner home.
Yeah,
for the
second pitch of the at-bat.
Yep, Wildcats' first run.
Hot shot to right field. Stefanski at second with a modest lead. Pitch by Dean. Nice block by Smith. So quickly 3-0 to Mitchell. And we do have some action in the bullpen. It looks like it's number 2, Jonathan Harvey, the lefty, getting loose. Mitchell pitched yesterday, so doing the DH duties today. Hitting for his fellow classmate, fellow junior, the pitcher Brody Illa. Fastball over the middle, gets over for a strike, 3-1 our count. Nobody down here. Bottom of the third, 2-2's our score. Wildcat Park. Wonderful, beautiful Tuesday. Defense playing Mitchell straight up with no pull. Takes a 5-pitch walk. I believe, what is that, Skip? The 4th walk of the day for Dean or 3rd?
That is the one, I believe only the 2nd walk, but he's hit 2 batters, which cost them a run back in the 2nd.
I know, and both those batters that he hit, he hit his first hit by pitch was on the first pitch of the at bat. The other one was on the 2nd pitch, when they were trying to bunt. So, I mean,
323.
they really haven't hit Dean that hard. He just hasn't found his control here early on to keep the runners, keep the Wildcats off the base.
More efficient to just hit the batter instead of walking him on 5.
Yeah, there you go.
Saves
I guess,
the pitches.
Right. Well, saves the pitch count, right?
Yeah.
So, junior Aiden Canty up at the plate, who's already flashing the leather, trying to get that gold glove in the Southern Suburban Conference.
Keep firing, bud.
A couple nice backhands right here early on by Canty. Trying to see if he can grab an RBI as well. Batting .375 on the year, 1 RBI, 1 run scored. As you mentioned, not as many as at bats as he normally would have at this point. Missed about a week. Came back yesterday against Farmington.
You mentioned the defensive Canty. Of the 9 outs so far in this game, he's responsible for 4 of them. I mean, just playing a great glove there at 2nd.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, just a really quick release and a strong arm. That's what I've noticed. You can't make that excuse of putting a good fielder with a average arm at 2nd with Canty, because he might have maybe one of the strongest arms of the infield over there. Mitchell at first. The courtesy runner Stefanski at 2nd. 2-1s our count. Nobody down. Dean's pitch to Canty. Runners going. Swung on, fouled back.
Way ahead now, buddy. You're way ahead.
There's the aggressiveness right there, Skip. 2-1 count, nobody out, and we're going to send the runners. Make the infielders have to move, maybe open up a hole. And it's, but it's a good time to do it, right?
Yeah,
Hitter's
2-1
pitch.
count. You're assuming, okay, he's going to try to get this one over the plate. He doesn't want to fall behind 3-1, so a good time to hit
and
run.
more than likely a fastball, right? That's part of it. So now it's 2-2. Canty calls time. Gets a lot of claps from the dugout. It's a favorite move by your teammates. Such a simple move. Just put the hand up. Dean looking into Smith. 2-2's our count. Bottom of the 3rd. 2-2's our game. There's the changeup. Beautiful changeup outside corner for a strikeout by Dean. Much needed for the Cougars. First baseman, senior Tony Hiveri now stepping to the dish.
Now batting, the senior, number 2.
Big strikeout there for Dean.
Yeah.
2 on, nobody out. Able to come from behind and get Canty.
Yeah. It's almost as if he's been saving that changeup. I mean, I think that he's had less than a handful of changeup. I mean, that to me, that's like his 3rd or 4th changeup. It's been primarily fastball, curveball, maybe curveball / slider. But it looks like he's got more bend on it as a curveball than it is, side to side as a slider. Stefanski, the courtesy runner at 2nd. Mitchell at 1st. 1 down. Hiveri at the plate. There's the changeup again. So I think and maybe part of it too, Skip, is just need to get a good feel of the changeup. Maybe he didn't have that in the 1st and 2nd inning.
Canty was his 3rd strikeout of the game. His first one was Hiveri back to end the 1st inning.
Okay. Very big, strong kid, tight end on the football team. A lot of pop. There we see the runners go. Throw down to 3rd by Smith. Safe! Ball beat him, but I think the head-first slide by Stefanski had him muster in between the tag by Von Eschen.
Lakeville South folks didn't like that call, but from our vantage point, which is a perfect angle, he got the hand in there before the tag. It was a really nice slide.
Yeah. But you can see why the Mavericks of Minnesota State are excited to have a catcher like Smith, because not only does he have a cannon of an arm, it's out of his hand quickly. And really now, I mean, what we noticed, right, is he already threw out one runner at 3rd, and he tried to back pick that guy at 1st, and just, it was a hot shot, but he just actually caught the front end of the base, and that's why it went straight up in the air and sent Gage to 2nd and the 1st.
Yeah, a quick release, strong arm, accurate as well.
He's a big catcher, too. You know, I didn't notice it when he came to the plate, but when he's standing up behind the plate amongst the hitters, I mean, he's probably, what, all of 6'1", 6'2"?
Yeah, he's a big kid for sure.
I mean, I guess I didn't notice it when he was, on deck and when he's hitting, but when he's standing, I mean, it doesn't do a lot of justice. We got a shorter ump behind the plate. But, I mean, Hyveri's a tall kid. He's just as tall as Tony. Okay, so now Eagan with the threat. The Cougars are going to play in. Will Mitchell slid over to second on that steal. Stefanski goes over to third. That would be Mitchell 100% on stolen bases, 2 for 2 now on the season. Hyveri just looking for a pitch that he can handle and at worst get to the outfield.
Yeah, the runners on second and third. Put the ball in play, make something happen.
Yep, only one down. 1-2's our count. Here's Dean's pitch to Hyveri. Popped, hit up. It's not going to get deep, but it could get back in that no-man land, and it's going to. Now we might have a play at the plate, though. Stefanski comes home.
Nice
out
throw.
at home. So the ball was hit in that same area that Lunenburg got the double, but this time Von Eschen didn't give up on the play and just threw a strike home to Smith to cut down Stefanski at home.
And that was the exact same spot that we saw Lunenburg get the double.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you got to hold at third because you're not
Correct.
sure if they're going to catch it.
Right. Yeah. I guess, well, you do, but you don't in a sense, Skip, I guess, right? And we get to play the armchair quarterback in a sense, right? As we see Drew McShane, the right fielder, step in, the sophomore. We'll get to that here more in a second. Ball in the dirt. Mitchell thought about coming home, but he doesn't. Nice job blocked by Smith. You do, but you don't have to hold, right? So the reason I say you don't is because when that ball's hit and the third baseman is leaving, right? In theory, Stefanski could have went halfway home because if he catches it, he's still going to be able to get back to third in time, And then if it doesn't catch it, then now you're halfway home. He's probably scoring that run.
Exactly. And was that the shortstop who ended up making the throw?
I thought it was Van Eschen, but it could have been the shortstop. It could have been one of the. No, I thought it was Van Eschen that got over there. But he kind of corralled it. He kind of went, kind of cornered it, went behind it. Big swing by McShane. 1-1's our count, 2 down. Hyveri does run over to second on that throw home. So once again, Eagan does have runners on second and third with Hyveri at second, Mitchell at third. 2-2's our score. We're even up on hits with both teams having 4. Ball in the dirt again. This one's blocked nicely once again by Smith. Dean's done a nice job. He hasn't thrown too many in the dirt, but Smith's done an excellent job, especially with runners on third, to keep that ball in front of him.
Yeah, he's had to make quite a few plays.
Seems like when there's been a guy on third, that's when he's had to make his blocks, right? So 2-1's our count. Sophomore Drew McShane batting in the 7th slot. Parker Pangier, the shortstop, on deck. Another ball in the dirt, blocked by Smith. 2-2's our score. Kind of has the feel of a late inning dramatic way here for either team, the way this game's been kind of rolling. Plenty of runners on both sides, but pitchers are really kind of hunkering down, once guys get in scoring position. Somebody's have to win a battle at the plate, I think, is kind of what you're seeing, right? But, I'm sure Coach Garacki, isn't too happy with, so far already there's been two outs just, basically not taken advantage of on pop flies out to, short left field. One the Wildcats have been able to take advantage of in the first, but not. We'll see if we get one here in the third. Swung on and missed on a changeup on the 3-2 count, and it's 2-2 is still our score. So for the Wildcats, they're in the third. No runs on that one hit, no errors, and 2 left on. We're tied across the board at 2s. Back in 60 seconds for the top of the 4th inning here on ETV. All right, back here at the top of the fourth, and we're playing my requested song, Peanuts and Coladas. Peanuts and Coladas. All righty, so Carson Lerfald, the second baseman, going to lead off the inning here in the fourth. Brody Illa out there again on the mound, so this is his longest outing of the season. First pitch, swung on. Hot shot, one hopper to Gage. So Lerfald welcomes that first pitch with a single to center field. We'll see if the Cougars put on a bunt play with the first baseman Riley Herder stepping up to the plate. I think Lerfald scored their first run. Am I correct?
That is correct. He had a line drive to left, now a line to center.
So 2 for 2. So we'll see if they either send Lerfald on a straight steal or if they bunt him over with the first baseman Herder. There's the bunt. Took off a little early, fouled back. There we go. Now we got some graphics up there. Nice job, Josh, in the truck. 2-2's our score. Top of the fourth. Casey Lux and Skip Newton will be back tomorrow for another 4:30 start against Apple Valley as Illa throws over to Highbury. Set for 5 games now. So originally we were set for 4 games, 3 home games, and then the road game at Burnsville later on in the season. And Eagan TV good enough to pick up today's game, as this was a game that was supposed to be played last Thursday when, all the worries of the large hail and tornadoes were coming through.
Ah, yes.
And a lot of scares there for a little bit.
It's always the way it is in the spring.
Correct. Caught by Highbury, thrown to first, not in time to Canty. Nice job by Canty to get over and cover the base as that bunt was a little too hot. Highbury catches it for an out, and that's going to keep Lerfald at first. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, Xander Benson. Benson is batting for the third baseman, Will Von Eschen. And there's our replay. Skip always likes to do our replay action, so Skip will walk you through.
I'll have to pay attention to the screen down here now that the graphics are up. Everything looks
if you just get
really good.
If you can get your Morgan Freeman voice going. Well, actually, that might put people to sleep, so don't do that.
Yeah, right.
You could do a Will Ferrell or Jim Carrey. First pitch in there for a strike on a splitter by Illa. Theo King hasn't seen any action. Neither has Parker Pangier. It's pretty much been to the right side. It's been balls to the outfield, strikeouts, or a whole lot of Canty.
And a lot of hitting the ball the other way. I mean,
Right.
It's not like we're getting a string of left-handed batters for
yeah,
the
and
Cougars.
exactly, and that's a great point. I mean, it's not as if the the Lakeville hitters are like being dominated by Illa's speed. Throw down, not in time by Lunenborg, so Lerfeld gonna get a stolen base. No, I think that's a good point though, Skip. Is they're going with the pitch, right? It's not like they're behind it, and they're just catching it and flipping it over the first baseman's head. 0-1's the count. 1 out. 2-2's our score. Yeah, 1-1. 3 hopper. Pangier's first ball of the day. Second ball, actually. In time over to Highbury. I forgot about his backhand. That was an infield single. So that sends Lerfald over to third. That much closer to taking the lead for the Cougars. The number 9 hitter is going to be Casey Flea, left fielder. Spelt the same as me, so I got a soft spot for anybody out there playing baseball named Casey.
There you go.
Even if they're on the opposing team of Eagan.
RBI single back in the second, but then was caught stealing.
Okay.
Ended the inning.
Yeah. I've heard those Caseys have quite the good slugging percentage usually, no matter how big or small they are. Lerfield at third. Split finger missed out. Illa's pitch. Fastball in there for a strike.
Wasn't Casey the name of the old Twins public address announcer? Or am I
Yeah,
getting
his
that
last
wrong?
name.
Yeah.
Spelt the
okay.
same, Bob Casey.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely. The no smoking in the Metrodome.
Oh, classic. And the Kirby Puckett was my favorite.
Exactly. 1-1's our count. 2 down. 2-2's our score. In there for a strike was the slider. Yeah, you think that that's a joke, but you have to assume that when the Metrodome opened up in 81, 82, that You know, there probably was a section where there was a bunch of people who thought they could smoke.
Right,
in there,
exactly.
Right? Ooh, nice little defensive golf swing there by Flea to keep that bat alive. 1-2's our count. 2 down. 2-2's our score. Cougars out hitting the Wildcats 5-4.
Get on it, buddy.
2 errors for the Cougars, 1 for the Wildcats. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Flea. Down the line. Past the diving King. Flea's going to look for his second hit of the day as he's going to slide into second and his second RBI of the day. So the number 9 hitter being a pest. Oh, do you see what I just did there? Last name Flea.
Well played, well played.
Wasn't even planning on it. Can't say that I knew what this lineup was going to be. I had been, working on that all night last night.
Be patient.
Like if his last name was Rose, you'd say like a thorn in their side, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you get it.
There's no such thing as a bad pun.
Right. So Flea now sitting at second base. 3-2's our score with the RBI, 2-out RBI single, or double, excuse me. King tried to keep that in, which he wouldn't have gotten Flea at first, but he would have kept him at first.
Go, Casey.
Leadoff hitter is Cashton Bodden, set to play next year at Augustana for the Vikings. Illa's pitch, slider in there for a strike. No action in the Eagan bullpen, but I think we see Kevin Kemp starting to walk down there. So it'll be interesting to see if they want to give him a clean inning to start next inning or if they run Illa out for the 5th. But Illa looking to get through here the first. Popped up, shallow left. Boyd coming in. Off the diving glove. Flea comes in to score, and quickly now 4-2 Cougars as they plated 2 runs here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, a tough play for the outfielder. I think the wind might be blowing that one a little bit away from him. Not sure if it's more him or the shortstop that should have made that play. That's a tough. It was another tweener. We've seen a lot of those.
A lot of tweeners today
already.
I think that's the tough one on that one, like you said, with the wind kind of maybe causing some misjudgments. We see a swing and a miss by the pitcher Dean. That's one that off the bat to the shortstop looks like probably a routine fly ball to left. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, by hesitating that second or two, all of a sudden you look back and go, oh no, like our left fielder is flying in and he might not even get to it. Good effort by Boyd, who's had to dive for 2 of them now today.
And he got his glove on it.
Correct.
It just popped out.
Yep, just popped out.
Seconds through, you're on 2.
Plenty of time for Flea to score from second as he was running on the pitch. So we'll see if Bodden takes off at first. Scooped up by Lunenborg, throw down to first to the big first baseman Very. Tracks it down. 1-1's our count, 2 down.
Ain't nobody better.
Cougars have scored 2 in the second, now 2 in the 4th. Another throw over by
Go,
Illa.
buddy.
What's Dean done here today?
This is Dean's 3rd plate appearance already. He walked and stole a base back in the first, had a base hit in the second. That was that one hit to short that just too deep and slow for a play at first.
Correct. Outside fastball there for a strike, so 1-2's the count. Illa trying to get out of the inning, get the boys back to the dugout, get the bats going. Wildcats will be batting, I believe, 8-9-1 in the bottom of the 4th. Okay. Bodden at first takes off, popped up. Kind of back in no man's land. McShane comes in to make the play, over calling off the second baseman Canty. But with all that happening, the 2-out rally, the Cougars scored 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on. It's 4-2. Back in 60 seconds for the bottom of the 4th. Wildcats coming to plate in the South Suburban Conference matchup here on ETV. Back here at Wildcat Park, Casey Luck, Skip Newton. Eagan Wildcats looking to answer as the Cougars scored 2 runs with 2 outs. Give us a little recap, Skip, of that top of the 4th there for the Cougars.
I started off with a line hit, got a stolen base, and then a couple of outs. Thought we were going to get out of that inning. Illa looking good, and then double with an RBI.
By Flea, right?
Yep, another line drive Bodden at the top to get that second run across. Fortunately got the force out, but it feels like the ball had eyes tonight for both teams, right? Just finding the gaps in the defense. And so far, Lakeville South has been able to capitalize more than the Wildcats have.
Yeah, it's been, for the most part, it hasn't been that sloppy of a game. Obviously on the Lakeville South side, they would like to have back those 2 pop flies. But, 2 different balls, like we said, that have kind of had eyes. One, just went past the glove of McShane in right in the first inning, and then the diving attempt by Boyd. So Pangier, though, the shortstop, settles in. Sophomore. 1-1 is the count. Parker on the year. 333 on base, RBI, and a run. Changeup misses up, so quickly now 2-1. On deck will be the left fielder, another sophomore, Drew Boyd, and then we'll have top of the lineup for the Wildcats.
Parker hit by a pitch back in the second, got as far as third base, but was stranded there, almost hit again.
That one almost took in the ear flaps. Still seeing some action in the bullpen. Jonathan Harvey getting loose once again, the lefty. So hopefully doesn't use up all of his pitches in the bullpen as he's getting ready for the call. We'll see how long Dean goes. Illa completed 4. There's a changeup across the middle. 3-2 is our count. 4-2 is our score. South Cougars out hitting the Wildcats 6-4. Both teams with 2 errors through 3.5. Swing and a miss by Pangier as Dean picks up another strikeout for the first out of the inning.
His 5th strikeout of the game.
He's settled in real nicely the last few innings now. In that second inning, like I said, when Eagan plated their run, that was all done without any hits because, he had 2 hit by pitches in there.
A couple sacrifices,
correct. A stolen base where they double stole. Yeah, bunt to get him over. Drew Boyd, left fielder, steps in. Boyd, as we mentioned, 4 out of 5 on stolen bases, so if he gets on, he'll be a threat to steal. 2 runs. 263 on base. Does have a double on the year as well. Yeah, what you kind of notice too is both teams have pretty much played all these hitters straight up. Neither team has a lefty, so there hasn't been any shifting. And for the most part, the outfields haven't really moved much either. Neither team has even attempted a drag bunt. Although I think it was a Pangier that maybe was trying to do a sack bunt, but it looked like a drag bunt. But I'm kind of surprised that Van Eschen, still is playing behind third base, with the number 9 hitter up, knowing that he has speed. But it doesn't look like Boyd wants to take advantage. 3-0 count, fastball misses, 4-pitch walk. Bring up the leadoff hitter, the senior, Tate Gage. For the Wildcats, they have won. They beat Prior Lake to start the year 9-3 at home. Beat Lakeville North 1-0 on a walk-off in the bottom of the 8th. A great pitchers duel in that game. Both pitchers went into the 8th inning. Beat Burnsville 13-3 at home. So they are undefeated at home. Beat Rosemount 1-0 on the road. We're filling on their losses here in a pitch or two. Curb on there for a strike, and then their losses would be the one that Skip saw, which was at Eastview, a 7-6 game. That Eastview won on a walk-off in the 7th. And then yesterday's loss was 2-1 at Farmington. So Eagan looking to keep a unblemished record here at home. Big swing on a fastball high and up, so quickly now 0-2. So Dean has corrected that last at-bat from a 4-pitch walk to quickly 0-2 count.
Yeah, that ball gets up in the strike zone, and the batter's eyes just get big.
It gets juicy when it's coming in like that.
Tough one to lay off of.
Yeah. I keep waiting for Boyd to take off, and he does. Picks the right pitch, too, as that one's in the dirt. No throw from Smith. So now Drew Boyd 5 for 6 on the season. puts himself in scores position. 1 down, 4-2 is the score. Senior Tate Gage at the plate. Tate, primarily a center fielder.
Come on, Tatum. Come on, Tatum.
When Canty was injured, they had to do some switching around. They moved Theo King to second, brought Gage in to play third.
Good.
Curveball misses up. And then they slid, let's see here, I think they slid
Come on, Tate. Come on, Tate.
Boyd out to center field, if I remember correctly. Kept McShane in either right or left, and then had Illa Madaman in right. 2-2's our count, 1 down. Big swing, hit deep to center. It's gonna send him back, and over the head of Walker. Walker looked like he had a beat on it, but that ball just kept carrying. A big shot by the senior leadoff hitter, flashing some power. Straightaway shot. I think that was a one-hopper to the fence, Skip.
Yeah, he got good contact on that.
That pitch was up in the zone, too.
Right, and I think the center fielder, he just didn't realize that ball was carrying like it was. Again, the wind may have played a factor,
Right.
but it's one of those things where if he'd have been on his horse, he probably makes that play. But good contact there, and really a nice job of hitting there by Gage. A huge run-producing double.
Well, and it was,
the Wildcats needed that.
Yeah, and it was a 1-2 count, and he got down 0-2 right away. So they picked the right pitch in the dirt on 0-2, and then Boyd takes off for second. And then the next pitch, I mean, even though he's way out there, it was one of those where when he was hit, almost like you could see the center fielder's eyes get big, like, oh, I can run this down. And I think like you said, similar to that ball that was hit out to right to McShane in the top of the first, right, where it looked like they had the right track on it. It's just that the ball just kind of kept carrying over the top of their glove.
Yeah, and you mentioned the really opportunistic stolen base by Drew Boyd. I mean, on an 0-2 count,
right,
almost gambling. Okay, is he going to try to throw something besides a fastball?
Right.
He's put pitches into the dirt.
Yeah.
We've seen it quite a bit. He's either been up and in, or he's down in the dirt when he's wild.
Yeah.
And boy, that timed out perfectly to get to second base, and that helped produce this run. And we're gonna have pitching change, a lefty.
Yeah. So we're gonna see a lefty, which is gonna be Jonathan Harvey, and then it looks like we'll figure out what we're doing here, but I think they're bringing in Flea from left field, and he's going to play. We'll see here. We'll get it all settled up here. Looks like Dean's going to the outfield and Flea's coming to the infield. So to figure out if Flea's playing second or where he's playing. Yeah, seeing the first lefty here. So Harvey. I think this is a rare year where Eagan doesn't have a single lefty on their roster, to be honest. Left-handed hitter being that way. Okay, so Flea is going to move over to second. And, okay, yep. Okay, so what they're going to do here is they're going to keep Benson as the DH. He's going to DH for Harvey. So I'm just kind of telling you how we're booking it here. They're moving Lerfeld over to third and Flea to second. Got that? And then I believe that would put, I can't tell if Dean's in center or if Dean's in left. I'm going to say Dean's in left. We're going to go with that. Okay, so hopefully everybody got those changes at home. Theo King steps in, the senior third baseman. We got Tate Gage, the senior, at second. Takes a take off in the first pitch. Ball in the dirt. Nice try to scoop by Lerfeld, but Gage slides in safely and now is 4 for 7 on the season, as he was thrown out earlier today. So the aggressiveness once again in play. First pitch thrown by Harvey in the dirt. Gage takes off. 4-3's our score. 1 down. Infield in. Theo King, the senior, at the plate. Swinging. Foul down the third baseline. Looks like we have 2 different Wildcats getting loose in the pen. Andrew Lekas, senior, and I believe also Kevin Kemp, junior, getting loose. And then we also have Von Eschen, so that's why they took Von Eschen out of third, because they're getting Von Eschen loose in the pen if they need him to come in for Harvey. 1-1 pitch swung on through by King, and actually the scoreboard was behind because he struck out King. So 2 down, 4-3's our score.
Now batting, the junior, number
Junior catcher,
Lunenburg.
the backstop. Brandon Lunenburg steps in, 2 doubles on the day.
This would be a good time for the third double.
The trifecta?
Guy on third with 2 outs.
And you feel if a guy hits 3 doubles in his first 3 at-bats, I mean, might be a lottery ticket type of night to go check out. First pitch by Harvey. Fastball, just missed outside. Looked like the home plate ump wanted to call it. Brought the arm up, but kept it down. Gage at third. The one thing that the catcher, Colton Smith, has done an excellent job is keep the ball in front. So it'd be pretty rare if Wildcats can get a cheap run on a pass ball.
Well, I believe Lunenburg's second double was one of those that
Yes.
fly ball
Correct.
into that no man's land and just past the third baseman there.
Right.
First one was well hit to right.
Change up in there for a strike. Yeah, you know how you've been around baseball enough. That's the baseball gods, evening things out, right? Because you hit a couple line drives right at the first baseman or second baseman, and then you get a double on a ball that should have been caught. Curveball misses out. 2 outs.
And the surprising one with that one is it wasn't like a Texas leaguer. It was a high pop-up.
Plenty of time. It just, like I said, I think the issue was that left fielder was playing so deep. I mean, they know of his power, right? 3-1 count. Big swing. Fastball outside corner. Swings through it. 3-2's our count. 2 down. Cougars holding on to a 4-3 lead as they've scored 2 runs in the second, and then they scored 2 runs in the fourth, all with 2 outs. Wildcats got one back here in the fourth. Another high pop-up, this one on the right side. Flea's over there, and Flea makes the play. So Flea comes into second after 2 batters, makes a inning-ending catch in fair territory. But the Wildcats do get 1 run back on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. 4-3 is our score. Back in 60 seconds here on Eagan TV, as the Cougars will be coming to the plate in the top of the 5th inning. Back here at Wildcat Park, it's 4-3's our score, top of the 5th. Brody Illa's day is done on the mound as he goes 4 innings and stretches out the arm. And we got the big junior, all 6'7", 6'8" of them. The basketball player, I heard that he had a game this season, Skip, 5 dunks, 1 game.
That's impressive. And looking at him on the mound, that doesn't surprise me.
No.
I mean, those are some long legs and long arms.
Big feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Kevin Kemp, who kind of is their one of their many go-to relievers, but I would put him up there. Him, Andrew Lekas, and Jackson Sehalis. Kemp is a 2-pitch pitcher. He's a fastball, curveball pitcher. Strong, sharp curveball. Not afraid to pitch inside. Kemp on the season, 3 games pitched, 1 2/3 innings, which I think that might be incorrect, to be honest, but that's okay. He's got 1 win. I'll explain that in a second. 1 strikeout to 2 walks and a 3.5 ERA. And we got Kemp's first pitch in there for a strike. And this is going to be the number 3 hitter, the center fielder, Carson Walker.
Walker 0 for 2, struck out back in the first. Fly ball to Iveri.
There's the curveball, misses inside. So when I was saying that he's got the one win, that was in the walk-off 1-0 win that they had. And what happened in that one, I'll tell you here in a second, was an interesting fastball misses out. So Kemp comes in after Will Mitchell throws just a beauty of a game, goes 7 2/3. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Kemp comes in. We'll wait here as you see this pitch to Walker. Bounce off the plate and foul. Throws his 8 warm-up pitches. First pitch he throws, bounced off the plate, straight up in the air. You're thinking, oh man, that's going to hang way too long. The run's going to score. Now they're going to be up 1-0. Kemp just kind of nice, easy, fields it, throws a heater to first. Lunenburg hits a walk-off double, 1 pitch, and he gets a relief win.
Well, the high grounder, because of his height, he was able to get to it faster. That's probably why he got him at first.
Correct. That was against Rosemont at home. I mean, just a beauty of a game. I think that game was an hour 45 minutes long. That was the second home game of the season for the Wildcats. And both pitchers, I mean, Rosemont's pitchers threw a whale of a game as well. And I didn't see what the pitch count was, but I mean, they didn't take Mitchell out because of pitches. They just want to bring in, somebody with a little different arm angle, as you can tell from Kemp. Curveball misses out, so now it's 3-2 to Walker, the number 3 hitter, center fielder. 4-3 still as our score, with the Cougars leading the Wildcats. Top of the 5th. Payoff pitch misses out, so Walker takes a walk to first. Right fielder Aiden Connolly will step in as the number 4 hitter in the lineup for the Cougars.
Connolly 1 for 2, also struck out back in the first. Those were the 2 strikeouts for starting pitcher Brody Illa, and then he hit a single and was stranded in the 3rd.
Shows bunt, misses out. Yeah, it's always interesting to me. You see it obviously a lot more on the high school level. I mean, the pros don't even bunt anymore. College, you don't see it very often. But it's always interesting to me when you get to that middle of the lineup, which coaches not only trust their 3, 4, 5 hitters to bunt, but actually put the bunt sign on for them. Even if it is a tight ball game, they usually let them, swing away. And that very well could just be a fake bunt, right? To try to get to the count that they're looking for. Get to a fastball count. Lika's still getting loose in the pen. Nope, actually now it looks like Jackson Sejales. Okay, so a bad throw over to first. Wildcats are saved as that ball bounced off of Walker. A nice backup by Canty to keep Walker at first. One 0 count, nobody down, top of the 5th. Pitch to Connolly from Kemp. Bunt shown, pop back up, and foul. Once again, I want to thank our Eagan TV crew. We got Tim as our director, Winter, she's running the replays. Josh on graphics and audio. The camera crew of Kevin, Carter, and Nick on a beautiful day here in Eagan. Time called by Connolly. King playing in for the bunt. Want to get the out. And we're getting back and ready to play here. 1-1's a count.
Well done, Carson.
Walker takes off. Bunt gets down. King fields it. Throw in time to Iveri. Kemp does his job to cover 3rd. Walker gets over on the sacrifice. Brings up the senior catcher headed to Mankato State, Minnesota State, Mankato Mavericks, Colton Smith. What's Colton done here today?
Couple of ground outs.
Okay.
both to second baseman
Okay.
Aiden Canty. We talked about what a sharp glove he's displayed so far this afternoon.
Yeah, and they've been hot shots. He had the one, he had the one that was up the middle that I thought was going to be an infield single.
Find it, bud. Here you go, kid. Right here, off the hand.
Curveball misses out and low to Smith. Walker at second. 1 down, 1-0 count. 4-3 our score. Fastball outside corner there for a strike.
You see it now. You see it. Here we go. Love it. Here we go.
Cougars out hitting the Wildcats 6-5. Normal depth in the outfield. Curveball misses up 2-1.
Still looking for yours, kid. Right through Brandon. All in, bud. Here we go.
As we talked about too, I mean, Lakeville South coming in 5-2, Wildcats 4-2. This, it's kind of a swing game here early on in the season. Ball hit hard and off 3/4 high of the monster. Smith's going to stay at first, but he's going to get an RBI single on a long fly on a fastball. 3/4 up of the green monster and left.
Way to go, Colton!
Cougars now 5-3 lead, bringing up the third baseman, Carson Lerfeld.
Yeah, Smith absolutely tagged that ball in a ballpark without the monster. That thing probably leaves the yard.
I think so too. Yeah. Well, and the beauty of the monster in that scenario is because he hit it so hard and it got out there so quickly. Instead of having a guy at second, I mean, the Wildcats still have the double play threat in play. The monster we got was the green left field fence that's about 30 feet high, partially to keep the balls from flying over there and attacking the softball players on the field behind him, directly behind him. Curveball in there for a strike. Our courtesy runner is Cody Scheit. He's over at first running for Smith. 0-1's our count, 1 out. 5-3's our score. Wildcats looking for a ground ball to get out of the inning on a double play. Now out hitting the Wildcats 7-5. Yeah, once again talking about the baseball gods and law of averages, I think with Smith potentially being robbed, twice earlier, right, by Canty. This time he's like, I think I'm just going to try to pop one off the fence and left.
Yeah, he earned that one.
Right. Fastball outside corner there for a strike. 0-2 now quickly to Lerfeld, who's moved over from second to third once they made the pitching change from Dean to Harvey. We'll see if Scheit will take off or if he's going to stay base at first. Handcuffs Lerfeld on a curveball inside for a strikeout. 2 down here in the top of the 5th. Riley Herter, the first baseman, now steps to the plate.
Lerfeld was 2 for 2 going into that at bat. And scored a couple runs as well. So big out there for the Wildcats.
Yeah. He's had a nice day at the plate. He covers that zone nicely. First pitch. 3-hopper to King. King across the diamond in time to Highbury for the 3rd out. But an insurance run is added by the Lakeville South Cougars. They get 1 run on that 1 hit or 2 hits there, Skip?
Just on the one long
hit.
single.
All right, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. 5-3's our score. Back in 60 seconds for more baseball here at Wildcat Park on Eagan TV. Casey Luck, Skip Newton here at Wildcat Park, brought to you by the wonderful crew of Eagan TV, their first baseball outing of the spring. We'll be back tomorrow for another matchup versus the Apple Valley Eagles. Another South Suburban Conference action. Number 4 hitters, the DH, Will Mitchell, steps in against the lefty Harvey. First pitch by Harvey, swung on, fouled back. Mitchell's got a single and an RBI, right, in the first?
That is correct. Single RBI in the first, walked, stole a base, was stranded in the third, so officially 1 for 1.
Okay. 1 for 1. Fastball, nice pitch. Low and on the knees on the outside corner. Mitchell with that RBI in the first, now up to 5 RBIs. He stole a base as well, so he's 2 for 2 on stolen bases. Did he score a run at all?
He did not.
Okay, so 2 runs on the season. Batting .313. Obviously, that's gone up with that hit. .429 on base percentage. Kind of a big inning here for the Wildcats. Bottom of the 5th, heart of the order coming up. You don't want to extend this inning so that way you can get that, flip that top of the lineup again for the 7th if you're still down. Also probably want to see some pitches. I feel like Harvey's done a nice job attacking the zone early. There hasn't been too many long counts, if I remember correctly. 2-2 pitch by Harvey. Popped up a foul. Stays alive, does Mitchell, the junior. Aiden Canty, another junior second baseman on deck.
Yeah, Harvey faces 2 batters in the last inning, 10 pitches, but got 2 big outs.
Yeah, right. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Mitchell. Ooh, tight pitch. A big holdoff. That one, I think, could have went either way. That was right at the letters, if not below him. 3-2 count. Harvey pitching quickly. Outside corner, strike 3. Looking was Mitchell. Big pitch by Harvey. Probably getting a little tail from that lefty pitcher to the outside corners. Junior second baseman Aiden Canty steps in.
Yeah, really nice pitch there by Harvey.
Canty batting .375 coming to today, and .500 on base percentage. So reach base half of his 10 plate appearances.
Walking a strikeout so far.
Okay. Swings through the first pitch fastball by Harvey. Quickly 0-1, 1 down. 5-3 is our score. Bottom of the 5th here at Wildcat Park. Harvey's pitch to Canty, another swing. Swung on and missed on a slider. Low outside at the knees.
Looked like he took a little off that one, too.
Yeah, it wasn't as sharp as his earlier sliders were. I know, and that's what you're kind of seeing with all these kids throwing sliders. Once again, another slider, but taking some speed off it. You know, so many of these pitchers now have kind of dropped the curveball and moved over to a slider, but the ones that are really effective is if you can, change speeds on the slider, right? It almost has a little bit of a change-up feel, but it's still moving, For him, it's moving, what would you say, east to west, and then for righty, it's moving, west to east. Senior first baseman Tony Hiveri steps in. Big swing on the fastball by Harvey. So Harvey really settling in here, really settling in now. And you can tell that the coaching staff's confident because Von Eschen isn't even getting loose anymore in the bullpen. Hot shot, but foul down left field line.
Hiveri struck out in the first, had that pop fly seeing eye double where the runner was actually thrown out at home because he was waiting at third base trying to tag up. Unfortunate play there for the Wildcats. A missed opportunity to put a run across.
0-2. Very hit down the first base line. Yeah, the Wildcats, if they were to go on and take a loss in this game, that could be the inning that they're going to look back on, because even if the runner just holds at third, now you have second and third, I think, with either no outs or 1 out at the time.
Well, there was runners at second and third when it happened, so there would have been the bases loaded. Yeah,
because I think it would have been base loaded with 1 out. Right. Yeah. It's a tough play. You're kind of caught in no man's land. As a courtesy runner, you're trying to get in and help your team to score. Obviously, Stefanski just got done stealing third, so the speed's there. Hiveri didn't like that pitch as it caught the inside corner at the knees, and Harvey does the job there as he gets 2 strikeouts in a quick 1-2 through inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. 5-3 still our score. Back in 60 seconds for more South Suburban Conference action here on Eagan TV. Casey Lux, Skip Newton here on Eagan TV. 5-3 is our score. We have senior Jackson Cejalas on the mound, set to do some pitching after high school at Bethel. Jackson on the season, he's had 2 appearances before today, 2 innings, so an inning each time, 1 earned run, 2 Ks, no walks. Jackson primarily, let's see, where's my notes? Primarily a fastball slider, and then he also mixes in a changeup as well from time to time. So, Cougars set to bat here in the 6th as we all patiently wait for the scoreboard to turn itself back on, but we're going to play on anyways. Fastball in there, outside corner for a strike. And this is the designated hitter, Xander Benson. Changeup, swung on through quickly, 0-2 to designated hitter Benson. Benson started off today hitting for the third baseman, Will Van Eschen, and after the pitching change, now hitting for Jonathan Harvey, the pitcher. 1-2 as the slider misses outside. 5-3 is our score, top of the 6th. Seems like the Eagan home faithful are just waiting for that one big inning or maybe even a one big play on defense to get the boys going.
Yeah, get the crowd more into it.
Right.
Get the team pumped up. Get the dugout into the game.
Dugout's been kind of quiet today. You know, usually with that microphone over there, it's like we just hear dugout noise the whole game. Cejalas strikes out Benson on 4 pitches, brings up number 9 hitter Casey Flea, who's having a heck of a ball game today.
Yeah, a couple of hits.
A couple RBIs.
And a couple RBI. Was caught stealing, but that's about the only blemish on his game this afternoon.
Yeah, started out in left, moved into second when Dean ended his day. Hits one out to left to Boyd. 2 pitches for the second out. Cejalas doing his job with a strikeout and a fly out. Top of the order is going to be Cashton Botten, shortstop, set to play at Augustana next season.
Nice job getting underneath that one.
Right.
We've seen some fly balls provide both teams a little bit of trouble here, but mostly ones that got up in the air and into the wind. That one, he was able to judge where it was coming down, got underneath it.
I feel like the outfielders have kind of adapted to the wind, right? When the balls are at them, when the fly balls hit at them, you kind of see them taking off it a little bit more under control, right, and settling in instead of charging it full speed and having either go over their head or land in front of them. So now 2-0 as both those fastballs have missed outside corner.
About 1 for 3 RBI back in the 4th.
And how did I not recognize that Botten is the only left-handed hitter today?
Yeah.
We were just talking about that. We haven't seen a lefty all day. 2-1 count, 2 down. Jackson Cejalas on the mound. Fouled away. 2-2. I'm guessing that both teams have the scouting report because I haven't seen either third baseman's, play in for a drag bunt, either on, the 8 or 9 hitters or the 1-2 hitters of the lineup. Cejalas' 2-2 pitch. Line shot caught by Canty. So a quick inning by Cejalas. I think it was under 10 pitches. 3 up and 3 down. Back in 60 seconds. Our score is 5-3. We'll be back for the bottom of the sixth for the Wildcats coming to the plate here on Eagan TV. All right, so the Wildcats looking to have kind of that rally inning here in the bottom of the sixth. They're going to send their 7, 8, 9 hitters. They're going to send the sophomore lineup, at least until Coach Butler maybe makes any type of offensive substitutions to pinch hit. We're going to see Drew McShane step to the plate, right fielder. Drew does pitch a little bit too from time to time in relief. Sophomore on the season, .429 on base percentage coming in today, 2 for 2 on stolen bases. So, as we mentioned, did he steal one already today? Did Drew steal a base today?
He did not.
Okay.
I was just going to say he was hit by a pitch in the second and scored a run and then struck out on the third.
Okay. But what I was getting at is if he can get on with a leadoff, get on base here, leading off the inning, he will be a threat to steal or potentially get bunted over by Pangier. And I think if we remember correctly, he was stealing on the play that Pangier was hit by a pitch. Because in that inning, Dean hit the leadoff hitter, hit McShane on the first pitch, and I think he hit Pangier on the second pitch, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was really quick.
Back to back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wildcats struggling to put the ball in place.
Yes.
7 of the last 9 outs recorded by strikeouts.
Okay, yeah. Well, I was going to say, after Harvey threw those first 2 batters, last inning had a snapper mow him down inning, 3 straight strikeouts. So, he has settled in. I would say that he's thrown, for every strike, he's thrown 4 strikes to every ball here that last inning. Another strike in there as a swing and a miss by McShane, so now quickly 1-2. Harvey doing a nice job of living on that outside corner, keeping it down and out. Right-handed hitters just having a hard time trying to flip that thing out to right field. 1-2 pitch. Was going outside, but high.
He's definitely in the groove. He gets the ball back. He goes right back up. He wants to throw the pitch right away. He's not wasting any time.
I was gonna say there was a batter last year. He was like, by the time the ball hit his glove, I thought he was doing the windup again. Heater up high for strike 3. Swung on a miss by McShane. 4 straight strikeouts by Harvey. Just doing a job coming out of the pen as he came in relief of Dean. Parker Pangier, the shortstop, another sophomore, comes in, steps into the plate. .333 on base percentage. Came in today hitting 200. Trying to be the rally starter.
Just like McShane, hit by a pitch and then struck out.
Sure. 5-3 is our score. And I think if you're the Wildcat hitters, I think you have to go up there ready to swing at the first 2 pitches because they're more than likely going to be in the zone.
Yeah, everything's around the plate.
Correct.
So just go up there and looking to rip it.
Right. Why put yourself in a 2-strike count? Changeup misses up. 1-1 count, 1 out. Bottom of the 6th, Wildcat Park South Suburban Conference matchup. Cougars of Lakeville South 5-2 today, coming in today's game. Wildcats 4-2. Wildcats have not lost a game at home as they are 3-0 at home. Looking to stay unblemished as they have a home game today and then play also tomorrow at home versus Apple Valley, with then going on the road on Thursday. So the rare 4 games in 4 days if the weather holds up.
It will.
There you go. I like it.
Let's have some positive.
I like it. Good vibes.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned, you want to get these games in early. because you just don't want to be playing 4 games in 5 days when, playoffs are around the corner. Fastball misses out, so 3-2 count now. I think this is the second time of the game that Harvey's had a 3-2 count. I think when he came in that first inning, he had a 3-2 count.
Exactly, ran the count full against Mitchell.
Other than
before he
that,
got him
I don't
looking.
think he hasn't gotten to two balls very often. Ball in the dirt, so nice job by Pangier of coaxing a walk. I think the aggressiveness might be held a little bit. We'll see what type of move that lefty has by Harvey over to first. So he might be able to keep that runner at first. Number 9 here is going to be Drew Boyd, the left fielder, who was also a sophomore. A double on the season, 2 runs. Came in today 4 for 5 on stolen bases. Did he get one as well?
Yes, he did. Scored a run back in the 4th
Yeah.
after he walked to get on base, had a sacrifice in the 2nd. So officially no plate appearances.
Right, so 5 for 6 leads the team in stolen bases. I think Harvey wasn't showing off the good move. That was a delayed move to first. Big swing by Boyd. I do like the aggressiveness by the bottom of the lineup here by the Wildcats swinging at that first pitch.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a good cut.
Yep, absolutely. Well, close your eyes, swing hard, you might hit it, right? Might find the barrel.
That's right.
Nobody has a torpedo bat, though. Harvey's pitch. Another one, outside corner. I mean, you can just see the confidence that Harvey has on the mound.
Well, and a lot of them down in the strike zone,
Yeah.
right? He's got nothing is left up.
Yeah. I feel like the few that he's left up, or he's either been a fastball he's trying to throw really hard on the outside corner, or off speed. Fouled away over to the track and field side. Yeah, it's either been that changeup, or if he's taken a little bit off his slider that maybe has moved up in the zone just a tad. 0-2 pitch by Harvey. Check swing, and he went. There was that changeup. Another strikeout by Harvey. 2 outs. We're going to bring up the leadoff hitter, senior center fielder Tate Gage. RBI and a single for Gage, correct?
That's correct. Reached on an error in the first inning. Sacrifice RBI in the 2nd.
Yep.
Double. Stolen base, RBI in the 4th.
Okay. Gage came in today batting .286, .375 on base. Now has 2 doubles, now has 2 RBIs, 9 runs, leads the team, and then right behind Boyd in stolen bases as he's 4 for 7 on the season. Pangier at first reached on a walk. 0-1 pitch high, 1-1, 2 down, 5-3's our score. Cougars out hitting the Wildcats 7-5. Both teams with 2 errors, but those errors happened in the first 2-3 innings. So, I mean, it's been a clean game since. Harvey keeping an eye on Pangier at first. Fastball misses out, 2-1.
Of course, a lot easier on the Lakeville South defense when your pitcher's throwing a bunch of strikeouts.
Right. Yeah.
Fewer errors to commit, fewer chances.
Yeah, exactly. Fewer opportunities. I know, and that's what Wildcats just need to put the ball in play, put it on the ground. Throw it on to first. Not in time. Snap tag by Herder.
Great job, Colton.
Hard, sharp throw by Smith, setting that one up.
It's a nice throw, but I thought he got his hand back in.
On the replay, just got probably on the backside of the base.
Yeah, the hand just got there.
Yep. Yeah, and the thing is once again, we talk about Smith's strong arm. I mean, Pangier's not getting that big of a lead. There's a base hit to left field. Slider hung up. Gage deposited it to left for his second hit of today. Pangier runs into scoring position. And now we have the senior third baseman, Theodore King, who slides in, batting .211 on the year coming in today, .318 on base, a double, a home run, 3 RBIs, 3 runs, and 1 stolen base, 1 for 1.
Oh, just a great at-bat there.
Yeah.
Really hammered that one, no doubt, into the hole left line drive. Big opportunity with 2 outs here for the Wildcats as they start to get into that meat of their order. If
Right.
they,
Only 4 outs left, at this
Exactly.
point.
Now it's rally time when you got 2 on for the first time in a while.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, the momentum would definitely swing if they could just find a way to even get 1 back here for the Wildcats. Harvey's been pitching exceptional since he came in for Dean. Slider in there for a strike. Pangier at second, reached on a walk. Gage at first with a 2-out single.
King 0 for 3. He's due. Fly ball to center, 2 strikeouts.
Okay. 0-1. Pitch by Harvey. 2 down. Pitch to King. Up high. Harvey's got some nice snap to him, too. I wish, it would be nice if we had a gun. I mean, one more thing we could add if we had a pitching gun. We could just do everything back here.
I mean, how much does a pitching gun cost? I mean, I feel like that. He talked about the new AD, maybe.
Right.
Put in a word.
I think the team might have one, but they probably don't want us running it. 1-1 count to King. Slider, backdoor slider on the outside corner to King. 1-2 count. Gonna have to be defensive hitting here. Foul off the bad, go with the good. There's a big gap between Herder and Flea at first and second, as Flea is trying to keep Pangier close to second, not allow him to get too big of a lead to score on a base hit. Runners take off. Pick the right pitch. Pangier steals third for his first stolen base of the year. Gage steals second. Gage now 5 for 8 on the year. A bloop brings in 2 to tie it up, Skip.
Would like to see him just put it into play and see if he can make something happen.
There you go, fouled away. It's going to be out of play down the right field line.
A little behind it, but nice that he got a piece, stayed alive.
Yeah. Well, and if you're Coach Butler, if you're the Wildcats, you like who you have up at the plate, right? You have a senior, played every day last year, plays every day this year. A lot of confidence, a lot of experience in these type of at-bats. Gage at second, Pangier at third. 2-2 pitch. Push to second. Flea fields in time to Herder for the 3rd out. For the Wildcats, as they tried to threaten in the bottom of the 6th, they get no runs on 1 hit. No errors and 2 left on. 5-3's our score. Back in 60 seconds. Top of the 7th with Lakeville South Cougars coming to the plate here on Eagan TV. Casey Luck, Skip Newton back here for the top of the 7th. Visitors of Lakeville South, the Cougars leading 5-3 on this beautiful day here in Eagan at Wildcat Park. Jackson Cejalis getting the ball for 2nd inning in a row here. Had a quick 1-2-3 inning last inning with a strikeout, a pop-up, and I think a ground ball. Am I correct?
Yeah, strikeout, a pop, a fly ball, and then a line out.
So
to
he's gonna get
man.
So first pitch swinging is going to be Gavin Dean, who started the game as the pitcher, moved out to left, pops up to Aiden Canty. 1 pitch, 1 out. Number 3 hitter is the center fielder Carson Walker. So Cejalis trying to get a quick inning, get the home Wildcats back in the dugout. Everybody put their rally cap on. See if they can muster 2 runs, maybe get some free baseball here at Wildcat Park. Still some action in the bullpen. I believe that's still Andrew Leakus. Actually, I think they shut him down. Probably going to save him for relief maybe for tomorrow. Trying to see who we got over there. 0-2 pitch to Walker is low. J.D. Krieger getting loose a little bit, maybe even just a bullpen, who knows.
Walker 0 for 2 with a walk, a run scored.
Ball hit out the center, couple steps in for Gage. Sejalas, another quick at bat. Number 4 hitter is going to be Aiden Connolly, the right fielder. 2 down. Top of the 7th, 5-3 is our score.
Yeah, you mentioned quick at bats, 5 outs on 16 pitches thus far for Sejalas, so doing a nice job there.
Yeah, Sejalas, I mean, he just attacks the zone. And what you notice is, rarely either gets a 3-ball count. It's even kind of rare to see a 1-0 count like he just did there on that slider that was up. Slider fouled back, 1-1 count, 2 outs to Connolly, the right fielder.
Connolly strikeout, single, sacrifice, 1 for 2.
Okay. Here's the 1-1 pitch by Jackson. Fastball low, fouled back. Track and field area. One, two's our count, 5-3's our score, top of the 7th. Fastball in is up, 2-2. Senior catcher Colton Smith on deck. His last at bat, he blasted one off the Green Monster for a long single. Strike 3 on the outside corner by Sejalas. We'll see if that gets the fellas going in the dugout. So a quick 1-2-3 inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. That's 2 innings in a row for Jackson. 5-3's our score. We'll keep it here. We're gonna just keep it here, Skip. We got the tunes cranked up. Hungry like a wolf? Am I right or am I wrong on that one?
I believe you're right.
Yeah, a little Duran Duran.
Nice.
There we go. So Harvey's gonna go. This is Harvey's potentially third full inning as he came in relief of the starter Gavin Dean. Gavin Dean, why don't you give us the box score from Dean as his outing was ended, what was it, in the middle of the 4th?
Correct. He went officially 3 1/3, 72 pitches, 3 walks, 2 hit batters. One of them came around to score, 5 strikeouts, 5 hits, and then the 3 runs.
And like you mentioned too, I mean, if not all 5 strikeouts, 4 of his strikeouts probably came in those, his last 2-3 innings. At least that's just what it felt like. Felt like his stuff kind of caught up late. And then same thing with Harvey. Harvey, they put the ball in play, and then all of a sudden that next inning he went strikeout.
Yeah, he had 4 strikeouts in the 3rd and the 4th.
Yep, correct.
And then you had 5 strikeouts by Harvey in the last 2 innings.
Yeah, and 4 of them in a row. Right? If I remember correctly, yeah.
Yeah,
3
correct.
and then that one.
Well, and actually, now that I rethink this, I'll bet I'm a scoring mistake. I'll bet Theo King wasn't there a pitching change? There was a pitching change. He went 3 1/3. So that strikeout
goes to Harvey.
So Harvey really mowing him down.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, there's your recap. Jonathan Harvey on the mound. Junior Brandon Lunenburg at the plate. First pitch strike on the outside corner fastball. Lunenburg, as we talked about, 2 doubles today, up to 5 doubles on the season. 1 home run. Does he have an RBI today?
I apologize. I was doing some more math on the strikeouts and
swung on and missed on a slider.
He does not have an RBI.
Okay, so he's the 2 doubles, so he's up to 5 doubles on the season. Average is going to be up over 300. 545 on base percentage. That's going to go up. 4 RBIs in the season with the 1 home run. Hot shot to short. This is going to be to Bodden. Bodden fields it cleanly. Throw in time to Herder. for the first out, the big out of the first of the bottom of the 7th here to retire Lundenborg. Designated hitter is going to be junior Will Mitchell. 313 average, 429 on base, 4 RBIs. Had a stolen base today, so 2 for 2 now in stolen bases. Had a RBI single, correct, right? So I add that RBI to now 5 for Mitchell.
Yeah, RBI single, walk, stolen base. Struck out looking back in the 5th.
Okay. And Harvey continues to work quickly. I think Harvey must be a Timberwolves fan. He wants to get out of here, shower, and watch the game.
Yeah, get home, shower, get something to eat.
Right. Get some ice on the arm.
Yeah, so he came on in the 4th, struck out one of the 2 guys he faced,
Yeah.
then 3 straight strikeouts in the 5th, 2 more in the 6th.
And then, yeah, right. Yeah, it's just been impressive. There hasn't been too many. He hasn't made it to a 2-ball count very often. If not, maybe only once or twice. 1-2 now to Mitchell, the designated hitter. Harvey's pitch, slider up. 2-2, 1 out. 5-3 is our score. Evenly hit game as the Cougars have 7 hits to the Wildcats 6. 2 errors apiece. Here's the 2-2 by Harvey. Strike 3 on the inside corner. Second time he's caught Mitchell looking.
Now batting, the junior, number
Harvey is quite the weapon out of the bullpen.
Yeah, that's nice if you can have a guy come in and pitch like this. I mean, absolutely mowing him down. Canty walked in the 1st, 2 strikeouts, 3rd and 5th.
Junior second baseman Aiden Canty, 2 down. Big swing.
But as we said several times, the defense has been outstanding.
Right. But as we also mentioned, ever since Harvey came in, the Cougars haven't had to field too many actual balls. When over half of his outs have been strikeouts. 0-1 pitch. Slider up top, in there for a strike. 0-2. Wildcats down to their last strike. 0-2 count, 2 down. 5-3 score. Pitch by Harvey. Canty holds back as that slider misses out. 1-2. Here's the pitch by Harvey to Canty. Strike 3 down the middle, fastball. What an outing. If we gave a player of the game, a Chick-fil-A player of the game, it would have to go to Harvey for what he did. Flea would be up there too as well as we take a look at Harvey on this last pitch. And he knew it right after it left his hand. So the Wildcats take their first loss here of the season at home, now running a record of 3-1 at home. They fall to 4-3, while the Cougars run their record now to 6-2. As we mentioned, we will be back here, 4:30 start time. Eagan versus Apple Valley tomorrow here at Wildcat Park. Casey Lux and Skip Newton once again. I gotta say one more thank you to all those in the truck. Tim, our director. Winter, our replay, doing our replay. Josh on graphics and audio, and then our camera crew of Kevin, Carter, and Nick. Thank you. Hope to see you all again tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow if you're able to. 4:30 start. Similar voices. We'll see if there maybe is a different outcome for the Eagan faithful. So for Skip Newton, I'm Casey Lux, and all those working here at Eagan TV. Thank you. Have a wonderful night. Go Wolves and go Wild.